Alright, I'm making a video right now about why our dogs cost more than, say, at a breeder or a shelter or the paper or whatever. You'll get this question, quite often from a customer. So basically there's 3 different places primarily that you can get a dog from. You can get it from a shelter, you can get it from a breeder, you can get it from a pet store. A 4th place would be from, just somebody had puppies and they're giving them away or whatever. And that's actually where a lot of people get their dogs. But say you're getting it from a rescue or a shelter. We have a big sign in all of our stores. You've seen it, I'm sure. It says, have you visited your local animal shelter first? So we always recommend that people try out their shelter rescue area. If they can save the life of a puppy, that's great, or an older dog even. But it's not for everybody. So, if you have smaller children, it might not work out. It might not be something you want to do. But you should always check there first. We always recommend that. If you get a dog from a shelter or a rescue, they're going to have, their shots will probably be up to date and they'll be vet screened. And that's usually about all you get. Sometimes they'll be neutered. Sometimes you have to pay to come back and neuter them later. But that's what you get. Second option would be a breeder, like a private breeder. Now this isn't a bad option. Now you can go to a private breeder. You have to search them out, internet search or newspaper or whatever it is. You are kind of on your own and you have to decide what kind of breed you're looking for. And then you go find, say you're looking for a Boston Terrier breeder. You'd search out a Boston breeder, you'd go find one, and then you'd go to their house or their facility or whatever, and then they usually just have that one breed. And they'll have one litter at a time, say, and you check out those puppies and you decide if you like one of those puppies or whatever. And then you buy it straight from them. Now when you buy from them, you're usually only getting the shots will be up to date, and they might have been checked by a vet, they might not, and then they might have restrictions on you for, if you want to breed, they make you sign a form that says you won't breed the females or whatever it is. Every breeder's different. So the thing you got to remember though about the difference between a breeder and us is that you're pretty much just getting the shots and maybe a vet check, okay? Third option would be a pet store. Now, not all pet stores are equal. We feel that we are way above the norm. Most pet stores don't know where their dogs are really coming from. They've never visited the kennels. They've never seen the facilities, where the dogs come from, the parents met with the breeders, that kind of thing. We do all of that. As you know, we have videos in our stores that show the breeding facilities. They're all indoor, outdoor facilities for all the dogs. They all have access to, grass once a day. This is it's very different than most commercial breeding facilities. We actually have the best breeders in the industry. We've created a kind of new kind of kenneling system, and John, my dad, is very instrumental in that. He's actually spoken at very prestigious vet schools, like Cornell Vet School, about how our breeding facilities work and how to implement them in different kind of situations. So we're very proud of our breeders. John and Debbie go down quarterly and inspect the breeding facilities and meet with the breeders and talk about any new information or any kind of new improvements that they've made or whatever. We're very happy with them. We're very transparent about where our dogs come from, which is something that you can't get from, say, Petland, because they don't inspect their breeders. They don't know exactly where they're coming from. They might have a name and address, but they've never actually been there. They buy from a broker who goes to the facility, and then the broker brings the dogs to them. So there's even a middleman in between. We're very involved about where our dogs come from, so we're very happy with how that's working out. Our relationship with those breeders is very strong. That's a big benefit of buying from us. Now, a big difference between buying from a private breeder and us is they only have one breed, whereas we do the legwork and we find these good breeders, quality breeders for these people already, and then we pick them up and bring them to the stores, and we have, a big selection to choose from. So that's a big difference from buying it from a breeder. They only have one kind of breed, so of course they're going to tell you their breed is the best. They only have the one breed. But we have, say, 15, 20 different kinds of breeds in the store at every time. at any time. So just the choice, the ability to choose is a big difference between us and a breeder. So there's value in that. Another thing is we have the vets come into the store once a week. So you can feel confident in telling everyone that our dogs are vet checked weekly, because if there's any problems with any of our dogs, we have the vets check them out, look at them over. They have a vet check when they come into the store, so they've had 2 complete physicals by the time they're up for sale. They had one at the breeder, and then they had one when they came here. Our vet checks them in before they're for sale, so that's already an additional complete physical that you wouldn't get at a breeder. On top of all that, then you're probably familiar with this sheet. If you're a new employee, it might be easier to just carry one of these sheets with you to the room when you take a dog, but this lists everything that comes with it. So let me just go down the list and I'll explain to you what comes with it and why that's important. So like I said, it's already had a first and second vet physical, and I explained that a little bit. Number one is we have a vet that works with the group of breeders because they're all in the same area. We have the same vet goes around and inspects all the breeding facilities and the parents, and make sure that the parents are all healthy and all that. So that's happening already, and that's before they bring the dogs in, the puppies, for their inspection physical. So their dogs are up to date on their shots and worming, so that means that they've had as many as they can have for their age. They haven't had maybe all that they need. Usually it works where they get shots up until they're about 4 months old, and then they get their rabies and they're good for a year. So if they're not 4 months old, they probably will need a couple more shots if they say get sold before the 4 months. But they've had as many as they can have for their age. So if the employee was going to get a puppy, they would get a third complete physical, so that would be at one of our vets, and so that would be a third vet that would be signing off on this dog. So that's 3 different, second opinion type of things that say that this dog is fit for sale, this dog is totally healthy up to this point. You give them a 30-day medical coverage, so that covers any kind of, illness. Say they get, a kennel cough type of thing, or they get, runny stool, or they get just any kind of thing like that. It would cover the puppy until they're healthy. What it doesn't cover is routine things, like say they're due for a vaccination. They would have to pay for the cost of the shot, but we would cover the visit. We give the customers a 2-year birth defect warranty. What that is within the first year, if a birth defect shows up, it has to be a debilitating hereditary defect, like anything like, say, hip dysplasia, or maybe some kind of eye issue, whatever it is. We would give them half of their money back or replace it with another puppy. If something pops up within the second year, we give them half credit towards another dog. So that's what that is. There's a lifetime disease warranty against the 3 major ones: parvo, distemper, and hepatitis. If the dog ever in its life died from one of those, no matter how old it was, as long as it's up to date on its shots, we would replace the dog. So we also include, we give them this big AKC package, and one of the big things in there is the AKC Good Dog Helpline, which you can call and talk to a certified trainer, AKC certified trainer, for the life of the dog. You can call every day if you're having a problem. Say, I'm trying to train the dog and I can't get him to do this, what should I do? And you can just talk to him every day. So that's a big thing, might save you on having to go to, classes. So that's a money saver right there. The dog's already microchipped. Which, if you bought it from a breeder, you would have to pay for the microchip. But then on top of that, if you don't know, the microchip companies charge, you can either buy a 1-year registration, a 3-year, or a lifetime, I think is how it goes. And the lifetime is pretty expensive. It can be like, maybe like $70, something like that. Plus the installation of the chip, which is usually around $50. So that's an expense that we've already done. So we register that chip for them, and that just goes through our system when we do all their paperwork. The computer automatically does that. We also do the birthday parties here, and they get a birthday party if they buy a dog, and it's for 6 kids and it's a good time. So we do financing, which is a big difference from breeder. You probably know which financing companies we use, but you know, a lot of people can't afford it outright, and so this, you know, just kind of helps them with that. It breaks the payments down. So this is a very long video. You don't have to use all of this. This is kind of just, I'm ranting. You know, we have a lot of good stuff. I could go on for a lot longer, but you know, pick and choose what you like out of that information and use it however you want in your own speech. But yeah, just those are kind of the basic reasons why our dogs will cost a little more than from other places.